1.
Thank you, Mr. President. SaraNelson with AFA-CWA, speaking on behalf of Claude Cummings, CWA District 6 Vice President and Chair of CWA's Executive Board Diversity Committee. And he would tell all of us that this is not about NAFTA, this is about SHAFTA. So there's no question that our trade policy has devastated the lives of millions of working Americans. Workers in the aviation industry right now are battling to fend off flags of convenience model that destroyed U.S. shipping, and our maritime unions can tell you all about that. But I want to talk also about specifically what NAFTA has done and how it has hurt the members of the Association of Flight Attendants. Since it was adopted in 1994, and 14 years later, we took a base in Pittsburgh of 4,500 flight attendants down to nothing. This was a base that had been in place since the 1940s, and the effects of NAFTA dwindled it down to nothing in no time at all. They want us to compete to the lowest labor standards. Multinational corporations think that trade policy is about getting goodies for the top 1%. But we know it's about putting working people first, and that's the strong agenda that we have put forward here. My members in Guam during the negotiations of TPP went to protest the negotiations on the island that were secret and were being secretly held in a hotel, but my members are crafty and they found it. And they got there, and those negotiations were being guarded with machine guns outside. As we said in the video, if this is so secret, it must not be good for the American people. It must not be good for the American people, because what was happening in those secret negotiations was negotiating with countries who were harbingers of human trafficking. So while Congress was supporting us in getting human trafficking training for flight attendants to stop human trafficking in our skies, our trade negotiators were negotiating to allow us to compete with countries that promote slavery. This is not okay, but I'm heartened because of what we did with TPP. This trade policy affects all of us. We are united by this. We were united by it, and not only can we win, we will win as we put forward policies that matter to working people. That's why I stand strongly in support of this resolution, that we are very clear that we support the interests of working people and not just multinational corporations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, sister. Calls on the delegate at mic 2.
Brother Chair, hello, my name is Maria Soma, and I also am a steelworker. As you can see, so many of us have lined up because this resolution is near and dear to our heart. I have the privilege of being the Director of Organizing for the USW. And as an organizer, I see what trade agreements like NAFTA and others do to the wages and working conditions of the unorganized manufacturing workers in this country. That unfair trade policy we have allows for the very real threat of our jobs going to Mexico or to China or anywhere else that wages are lower. This not only affects the workers that we already represent that you've heard about today, but it also affects the ones that we are trying to organize. Manufacturers use that threat of moving overseas to often pay wages that cannot support a family. We need a fair trade policy that evens that playing field so that our workers are not used just as a commodity to trade back and forth to the lowest bidder. These bad trade deals have a spiraling effect. Jobs leave these countries, and those job losses make the workers who want to unionize more afraid. All the workers in this country must stand up and fight back against those greedy corporations who want more and more at the cost of so much. All workers, those organized and those who are yet to be organized, need us to be their voice and their champions in this battle. So I rise, brother, in full support of this resolution on behalf of all the voiceless, unorganized workers in this country. Thank you.